Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 Volkswagen Taos and the all-new 2025 Nissan Kicks. I borrowed the Nissan from Flo Nissan of Statesville, so take a look at their website down in the description, along with the full detailed reviews that I have made on both of these compact SUVs. So let's start off with the MSRPs. For the new Kicks, they start around $21,000. In today's video, this SR model is just over $31,000. The Taos starts just over $24,000, and in today's video, this one is just over $36,000. Moving on to what powers these, the Volkswagen has a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo paired to an 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 174 horsepower, 184 pound-feet of torque. The Nissan has a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder paired to a CVT, and it pumps out 141 horsepower, 140 pound-feet of torque. Now, in today's review, the Volkswagen is all-wheel drive, the Nissan is front-wheel drive. However, you can get all-wheel drive and you can get front-wheel drive for both of these models. We have curb weights of 3,200 pounds for the Kicks, 3,400 pounds for the Volkswagen. 0 to 60 is going to be around 7 seconds versus closer to 9 seconds. And then as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 24 and 29 for the Volkswagen, 27 and 34 for this new Kicks. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, as you can tell, they have a big difference. You'll notice that it's almost in reverse. So the Volkswagen has a larger lower section of the bumper here. There's also parking sensors too. Distance pacing sensor is the Volkswagen badge, and then there's a lot of cutouts to provide additional cooling. For the Kicks, you have a larger grille up top. You do get a forward-facing camera for this model. All of the parking sensors too. There's a sensor for distance pacing, and then a much different design for the headlight housings and all of the lighting too, which I think gives it a good look. And then you have some more prominent lines coming down the Volkswagen, very smooth lines coming down the Nissan. And then working our way to the side, both of these have a really nice wheel. You'll notice it's a lot more unique looking for the Kicks with that 3-spoke design. Both of them have plastic for the fender arches. It's also in the lower side skirts too. Now, this Kicks also has a turn signal and a camera for the side mirrors. You don't have either of those for the Volkswagen, however. And then up top, you get full moonroofs for both of these, and you also get a 2-tone design for this particular Kicks, which gives it a great look. And then as we take a step back, you'll notice there's a very crisp line right in the middle of the Volkswagen, a little bit more smooth, less defined on the Kicks, but I think they both have a really nice look to them. Now, with the Volkswagen, you have a spoiler along with the third brake light and the wiper blade. You have LEDs for all of the lighting, along with a backup camera and all of the parking sensors. And then taking a look at the cargo space, you do get some storage underneath the floor along with the spare. You can also fold down the back seats. So it gives you a practical cargo size and space for this smaller vehicle. Now, over on the Kicks, which also has a Kicks logo in the back there, which is neat, you get gloss black up top. There's the third brake light, a wiper blade in the lower section. LEDs, of course, backup camera, all the sensors. Very, very similar, just in a much different design as far as all of the features go. And then in back, you do have some storage underneath the floor where you might be able to fit in a spare, and you can fold down the back seat. So they're going to be nearly identical in terms of their cargo space and what you can place in the back. Now, working our way to the back seats, where this is going to be probably the most important with a compact SUV. Very nice door panel along with the seats. All of this can change just depending on how you spec your vehicle. At 5'10", I'd say I have a good bit of space. There's vents, one auxiliary. You have storage pockets on both sides, and I have maybe 2 inches or so of headroom. These seats are fixed, so they don't recline, but honestly, I think I'd be very comfortable riding around in the back. I don't feel too confined or cramped. Now, you have the armrest with cup holders, and then you can also fold down this section so you can grab anything through or put anything through that you need to. There's also a good size for that window there. It's a little bit larger than on the Nissan here, where in back, door panel is very nice. You have similar functions, and then much different design for the seats here. Now, at my height, it feels a little bit more upright. Now, you get the storage pockets, you get some auxiliaries, you have plenty of leg room there, and I have about the same amount of headroom, but these seats feel more upright than reclined in the Volkswagen. Regardless, I'll still be comfortable riding around in the back here, and you do get cup holders with the armrest. You do not get to fold down the middle seat by itself. And as you can tell, those windows are much smaller, just with the overall design. Now, since I have the full detailed reviews, we'll just go through this quickly. You have all of your normal adjustments there. There's manual adjusting seats for this particular model. And then as we start this up, you have cruise control settings. You can go through all of that information, volume tuning, and then you can go through the digital gauge cluster. So you have a little bit that you can go through, just depending on what you'd like to see. And then the left side and the right side is all fixed information. So you have a little bit that you can go through, which is nice. You have auto hold, steering assist, heated steering wheel. There's also ambient lighting too for this model, which is nice. And then the infotainment system is fairly simple, but you have pretty much all of the important information that you need to go through on the left side here, going through these shortcuts. So pretty easy to go through that to be able to get to all of this information. You also have the backup camera along with a forward-facing camera. So you can bring that up too, and you have a few different angles, which is nice. You do have some physical controls for your fan speed. You have heated seats, some other climate adjustments that you can get into. There's also wireless charging with auxiliaries. You have auto hold and the e-brake, even a few different driving modes, which is nice to see. You do have an engine braking setting too, so you can use that if you would like. You have cup holders. You get an auxiliary with some storage in the armrest. You get storage in the glove box, of course. And then you do have garage door buttons up top. You get a sunglass holder and then adjustments for the sunshade and sunroof. And then even with those small windows, you can still see over that right side. You can't quite see that window from the left shoulder there, but you can still use that to see around, of course. And then same thing, I have the full detailed review. You have similar controls, however, you do get heated side mirrors and you have automatic front seats for this model here. And then on the steering wheel, roughly the same. You have all the cruise control settings, volume, Bluetooth. You get a heated steering wheel, however, for this model. And you do have a little bit more information that you can scroll through in terms of even the view. So you can look at this a few different ways, just depending on the information that you would like to see. Now you only have headlight adjustments on the left. Neither of these models have a head-up display. And then with this infotainment system, probably about the same in terms of the tech features that you get and what you can go through. However, you can actually change the gauge cluster and the layout that you would like. And you do have some off-roading settings for this model here. So fairly similar in what you get. You have air vents underneath that, heated and ventilated seats. All of the climate adjustments are nicely laid out. You get wireless charging and auxiliaries, engine start stop, parking sensors, e-brake, and then you only get a rear-facing camera for this model. You do have the option of shifting with the shifter, and then you do have some driving modes too. So you can go through all of these, and you even have some off-road settings that you can get into. You have cup holders, a little bit of storage, and then storage in the glove box there. And then no garage door buttons. You don't have a sunglass holder either. You have all the dome lights and controls for the sunshade and sunroof. And then as you can tell, much larger rear cargo windows there to give you a little bit more visibility, especially over that right side. But with the exteriors and the interiors wrapped up for the Taos and the Kicks, let's get both of these out on the road, see how they drive. And we'll start off behind the wheel for the Nissan Kicks. I have it in sport mode. We'll give it a minor acceleration, where I think this has a good bit of pep to it. It's not a fast vehicle, but I think the power is adequate for the sizing and what you get from this smaller crossover SUV. But it's a really nice place to be. I've put a few miles on it so far, just doing the full review, getting my bearings with it. And I think it's a very nice, comfortable vehicle to drive. The seating position is nice. I have plenty of headroom for its smaller size too. It seems pretty spacious for the interior. I think this would make for a great daily driver, even with its smaller size. This is something that's going to be really good in parking lot situations, driving it in the city. You're going to be able to maneuver this car very well. And then just out on normal roads, it seems to ride and drive very smooth for this type of vehicle. We're not going very fast, but there's no wind noise. You really don't hear any road noise either, so it feels very composed for the pricing of this and what it has to offer. So I think it's definitely a great option. You have a few different trim levels too, depending on your budget and what you would like to get. But first impressions, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It seems like it has a lot of bells and whistles that you would want to make this a great daily driver. So jumping into the Taos now, sport mode, second gear, here we go. Now we can use the shifter, so you have that if and when you need to. Most likely you won't be using it, but it just gives it a little bit more of a sporty feel being able to do that. But this has been a very nice vehicle. Now this is one that I have had for the week, so I have some more seat time behind the wheel and just being familiar with this vehicle and how it drives and everything. I think it's a very nice option to go with. As you can tell with some of the other competitors, there are different options and things just depending on, you know, your budget and what you like. This vehicle seems to be very comfortable. I haven't had any issues with putting some miles on it. You know, it's in a really good spot. We have the height adjustment for the seat. So I have about 4 inches or so of headroom at my height, 5'10". So you can adjust that just depending on your height, of course. It's also been very maneuverable too. So for its smaller size, it's very easy to park and just drive in general, but it offers a lot of space for its smaller size. So back from our quick test drives between both of these models, you can take a look at the full detailed reviews for more driving impressions. I think these are both very fun, small size, compact SUVs. I will say with the extra power that you get in the Taos, I can see that being more beneficial, but it just depends on where you live and how you're driving too. If you're more in the city, I think this is an adequate amount of power for this model. Maybe it would be cool to see a turbo at some point added to the Kicks just to give it a little bit more power, but both of these are very nice. I love the tech features that you get with the Kicks. You do have a few more than the Taos, so for spending less money, you have a few more features, and just depending trim level for trim level, it depends as well. So comment down below, which model would you go with? I've been driving the Taos for the last week. First impressions with the Kicks though, definitely a nice smaller vehicle. Almost feels nicer than the Taos. The Kicks is definitely a very unique vehicle if you want something a little bit different than more of a traditional style SUV. So comment down below, let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.